So there was an asking price put out there. It looks like they're going to meet it or get very close to it. So, happy days all around. Nothing to complain about there, Paul. Or is there?
Well, you baited me in the group chat all afternoon. So you think you've sort of wound me up and ready to go and you save it up for the live show. Well, it looks like the asking price, if the stuff that's coming out at the minute looks like the asking price is too low as far as I'm concerned. 27 million euros. If it rises to the 2 million gap is 29. Is 24.8 million pounds in current exchange rate, which is under what we got for Jota and under what we got for Kieran Tierney. Okay, by only a little smidge, but it's not good enough. Like this is the deal. The kid is 23 years old, 5-year contract. We've got a ton of cash. We don't need to sell him. We hold all the aces, just like Norwich didn't need a deal. We hold all the aces. The asking price should be 30 million quid or bloody close to it. We've got to break the 25 million pound ceiling for transfers because there seems to be this position either by the board or the market and or a coupling of, and that 25 million is the most you ever have to pay for a Celtic player. Well, that's bollocks as far as I'm concerned. You pay the market rate. Brendan Rodgers is on record as saying you pay for the player, not the league he's in. And I don't really give a shit that it's going to be a massive profit because we only spent 1.5 million on him. Great, we did good business at that end, but there might be a sell on in there. We don't know, so we might lose a little bit of this fee. We should definitely have a hefty sell on if we're giving away some funds at the front end. But yeah, for me, it needs to be but the longer you don't break the 25 million ceiling, the harder it is. Because you don't get players that are in this perfect scenario that often. He's young, he's on a really long contract, and we're sitting on a bundle of cash. And the other club interested, if Brighton are seriously interested, and it seems they are from the richest league in the world, and they can absolutely pay more than 25 million quid. They do it all the time down there. And we know that they're getting 55 million euros for the player that they're trying to replace. So they're sitting on a pile of cash. The same as Norwich had us over a barrel with us sitting on a bit of cash. Squeeze him. Absolutely squeeze him. And if they don't want to meet, Rodgers all along has said, I'm relaxed. We've got an asking price. Well, that's fine. I'm happy with that if the asking price is high enough. But it doesn't look like it is as far as I'm concerned. So I'm a little bit annoyed.
What do you think in the comments? Is the asking price high enough? Like Matt O'Reilly, he's a good player, clearly. He's a very good player. What I was saying in the group chat earlier is, he's good, but I mean, we're kind of talking about him as if he's prime Henrik Larsson.
He's our best player, and we can't replace him. We can't replace him for all the tea in China.
He looks really good compared to some kind of average players that he plays with and against lots of shite players in Scotland. And I don't think he's that good that I would put my house on him being a massive success wherever he goes. Dano,
two man of the matches in the Champions League and assists in the Champions League and didn't look out of place in the Champions League. So he's only had a few times to show himself at that level, but you're trying to make it seem sweeter than it is. He'll absolutely cruise it in Serie A and he'll go on and he'll be a superstar. So we absolutely should be.
I'd like to think that, but I don't know that that's definitely the case. Dano,
we should be treating it like it is.
Okay.
True indeed. I don't know. I mean, these things are rather opaque too. I mean, yeah, you have like the basic asking price is, reported to be 27 million euros. I mean, do we know what kind of add-ons are in there that could be, make this a better deal over time? And also, is there a sell-on clause? I mean, the whole thing is rather opaque. So we'll see what the deal is. I mean, 24.8 million pounds does seem light to me. I agree with Paul on that. But I mean, what kind of add-ons, what kind of incentives are they paying? Like, some kind of percentage over time. In addition to that, do we get a sell-on clause? Who knows? But it's a pretty good offer. And it seems like O'Reilly does want to play there. I mean, they do have an attractiveness to them for sure. But
there's a lot being made. I agree with you, Dan, but there's a lot made about the old sell-on clause. The sell-on clause often doesn't come to fruition.
Right,
Dembele
right,
saw out his
true.
contract. Dembele saw out his contract. There was no sell on there. The Dutch kid's names escaped me. That's at Leverkusen. No, the guy at Leverkusen. That was Frimpong. Frimpong. He's supposed to be making us, a ton of money when he goes for 40, 50, 60 million, and he's still there, right? So you only get the sell on if they sell on. So
Right.
I'd rather have the funds up front.
That's funny. You only get the sell on if they sell on. That's
It's
today's
true.
snippet. I'm going to cut that just for Twitter.
We've got a few examples where we don't get the sell on. We're not going to get a sell on for Kieran Tierney, really, are we?
I mean, and let's be fair here. The Italian clubs are super cheap. They always lowball as far as they can. They're just like us on the transfer market. So it's not surprising they've come in with like 4 or 5 offers, and we've had to just be patient and keep negotiating with them, because that's how almost all these Serie A teams seem to operate at the boardroom level. So, yeah.
And do you not think if he was worth 35 or whatever number you have in your head, Paul, that there'd be more of a scramble with, bigger clubs or bigger offers? I mean, we've eked our way to this number over the course of the transfer window.
Well, there's still 2 and a bit weeks left. So we
Yeah.
all the big money comes in the last few weeks of the window. So
Yeah.
We've eked our way because they've been cheap, as Dano says, and hope that we'll just drop our pants and sell them on the cheap. The same as we were cheap with Norwich and Adamida. So I would, unless we've got, like, if we're going to sell them for 25 mil and we've got 3 first team players that money is getting spent on, fair enough, do the deal this week. But if we're only going to spend it on 1 player and we're still squeaking around for cheap deals, then I'd be inclined to push him towards the end of the window. It's not like we need this money to make other transactions. We're sitting on a ton of cash.
Right.
We can make any transaction we want before this one happens. But it's classic Celtic board where they want to know that this deal's happening before they commit the money elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if we're not in the Champions League, and we have been, and like that money's been great. There was a breakdown that Gab sent to like our group chat, and without Champions League money, our operating costs versus income is pretty low, if not negative. So I do like the board being a bit prudent. Like, to be completely honest, I really wish they weren't as far as like my fandom goes, but I think it's good to have some liquid behind you. And we have a lot. We have a lot of it. But
there absolutely is. But there's no downside to keeping Matt O'Reilly. There's no downside to keeping Matt O'Reilly.
There isn't. Yeah, absolutely.
We've got more headaches if he goes than if he stays. If he stays, unless he gets a career-ending injury, his value is only going to go up. In the next 6 to 12 months. And then because he's done it again in the Champions League, he's done it again in Celtic. He's had a few more international caps. His price has gone up. And then we flog him in either the next window or the one after that. At this rate, the league will be done by Christmas, so he can go in January. Happy days. Unless we're getting fair market value, he stays. He'll be gone. We'll be cheap and he'll go, but not happy about it.
I mean, with O'Reilly, I mean, this is a team I could see making some noise, like genuinely in Europe, with O'Reilly. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, the point being taken for sure that we don't have to sell him. We don't have to do anything right now. But if the deal's right and the board feels good about it, and 25 million, it's nothing to sneeze at.
Well, I remember Brendan saying when he took over that there was interest in him then. There was interest in O'Reilly then. Leeds, 10 million, that kind of thing. But Roger says he said no. We can't afford to lose another player. And I've nothing to base this on, but I imagine there was a conversation then. It was like, look, an offer came in for it. It was a good one, but you give us one more season. You play in the Champions League. You'll get a far better offer at the end of 23-24. exactly the conversation that everyone is saying have with him now. But if it was had with him back then the die is cast. His expectations are that he will move on this
I
summer.
don't doubt that, Gav. I just think the asking price is too low for the reasons stated. Like you joked about it on the group chat, but Fabio Silva went for 40 million to Wolves because of silly money in the EPL. So and he's absolute horseshit. So I just want a fair market value for our players, and we're never going to get it if we keep taking low ball offers. It was 13 million for Virgil van Dijk back in the day. That was horseshit. Now we're talking about 25 or 24 and a bit million for Matt O'Reilly. It's just a bit amateurish, much like a lot our board does.
I think it's not too bad. I'm not going. It doesn't annoy me. I think it's a good price. I think he's a very good player. I'm sad to see him go, but I think he's run his course and he's moving on to other things. And I hope he does prove to be a great success. But I'm not 100% confident that that's going to happen.
I think he's going to be a great player, man.
Okay.
I think he's already a very, very good player. I mean, pressing and cutting off lanes, especially out of possession, he is fantastic. And he's just got a coolness and calmness about him that he's gained over the past year. Going to a bigger league, bigger club with bigger challenges, I think he's going to be fabulous. I just hope he gets the chance if he moves somewhere else. It'd be a shame if, they switch managers or something happens and he's out of favor, and it's just one of those things that happens.
Exactly. He might not be a starter. He drops down the pecking order. His confidence takes a hit. His Indian guru can't talk him around.
Let's be clear. He's not going to a bigger club, is he? He's going to a better league and he's going for more money. He's not going to a bigger club.
It's a more competitive league.
Dano said a bigger club. A bigger club.
Okay, well done for picking him up on that, Dano.
Somebody in the comments will. So
not a bigger club. Definitely not a bigger club.
But he's going to be surrounded by better players and better opposition.
Yeah, it's definitely high level competition.
And he'll be at Juventus or AC Milan in a year or two for double the money.
Yeah.
So it pisses me off. I'm entitled to be pissed off about that.
Well, be pissed off. I'm not pissed off. I'm fine with it. I'm all right.
But if he's set on the move and then we block a move or something like that, then we have an unhappy player on our hands. A lot of the people are talking about that on the chat board. So that's definitely something.
I'm not advocating we block the move. I agree with Gav. The conversation was probably had a year ago. My only grievance is that we are letting players go on the cheap again, and he will go for significantly higher money in a year or two to an even bigger club. And I'm past the point of us being a stepping stone all the time. We should be getting fair market value.
I don't think we've been a stepping stone here, though. I just can't agree with that. Even if he goes for 25,
we will be.
What's your definition of stepping stone?
If he ends up at a bigger club for more money, we're a stepping stone, and so are Atlanta.
Classic stepping stone, brilliant stepping stone. We're like a mini trampoline in a back garden rather than a stepping stone, because he came to us from MK Dons for 1.5 million, and now he's got a big name for himself.
We want to be that. We want young players to come here and go, look what can happen if you do that.
That's what I'm thinking. So let's rejoice that it's been such a success rather than cry about not getting another 7 million.
Just another 2 or 3 mil. Just another 2 or 3 mil, Gav. I just want to break the 25 million
greedy
ceiling.
bastard.
Not a greedy bastard.
All right, let's move it on.